Okay, a lot to unpack here. Damien Woody with us. Great to have you, Damien. So the Browns have denied these allegations by Hue Jackson. To reiterate, Hue said on SportsCenter that he went to the NFL about the taking issue. He spoke to Roger Goodell and nothing was done. Now, Hue just joined KJM where he told them he received $750,000 for tanking and incentives. Stephen A., how concerned should the NFL be over the tanking allegations specifically?
Well, they need to be incredibly concerned. Good seeing you, big boy. Thanks for being on the show this morning.
Same here.
They need to be incredibly concerned. There's no question about it. We're talking about the integrity of the game. That's what we're talking about here. And anytime we all understand that there are teams that want to lose games for drafting position. We understand that, and the NFL may need to take a different look at that because whereas the worst team obviously gets the #1 overall pick in the NBA, for example, there's a lottery just to dissuade these kind of actions. You know, obviously you can still get more ping pong balls available to you and what have you in the National Basketball Association, but it is not a lock that you're going to get the #1 overall pick if you have the worst record in basketball. The NFL might need and may be forced to revisit that based on these allegations alone. We shall see. But if you're Stephen Ross and you're alluding to your integrity, to get to him specifically, the 81-year-old owner of the Miami Dolphins, let me look in the camera and say this. When you talk about you are a man of integrity, you had damn well better be if you want to remain an owner in the National Football League. Because if this is found to be true, the allegations that Brian Flores has made, and they are just allegations, we do not know for sure that this happened. But if it is true, that not only did you encourage him to throw games, but you tried to enforce it, even offering him $100,000 per loss, you've got to go. You've got to go as owner of the Miami Dolphins. If you are the owner Haslam for the Cleveland Browns and Hue Jackson's allegations are found to be true, you, sir, have to go as an owner for the Cleveland Browns. We talk about minority ownership. We talk about the need for black empowerment and for black inclusion when it comes to the NFL ownership group. If it's true, those are two openings that should take place in Cleveland and Miami. Their ownership, they should be forced to surrender ownership of their teams, period, if they had something to do with intentionally tanking football games and encouraging and paying off coaches. That is as egregious as it gets. And I want to say this as well. I think it's important, Damien, that some white folks speak up. And to get specific, I'm talking white coaches. Because I want to know if any white coaches have been encouraged to throw games. I want to know if any white coaches were paid to throw games. Because if that was not the case, if no white person comes forward proclaiming that that is something that they were offered, that is something that that was forced upon them, if there's no white coaches that are saying that, then what we have is a situation where, oh, the black dude has to do that. The black dude is enforced to do that. And then when you throw these games, all of a sudden you got a horrible record and you could never get a job again. Case in point, Hue Jackson. Let's go to the list. I had to call it up again. Hue Jackson's record as a head coach in the National Football League in 4 years is 11-44. That's a horrible record. Yeah. One season, 2017, he went 0-16. Don't get any worse than that, okay? His record in 3 years in Cleveland was 3-36. These are horrendous numbers and would explain why nobody was knocking on his door to give him an opportunity, which is why he had to go to Cincinnati after departing from Cleveland as a special assistant, okay? And now he's coaching at Grambling, and we wish him nothing but the best because he was a good man. And he came right here on this show on First Take, and we appreciated him showing up after he was released from Cleveland. But if ownership had something to do with that, essentially, in Brian Flores' case, where you're a first-time head coach, oh, so the brother has to go, and he's being forced to lose games and tarnish his own record and not prioritize winning. All we're going to see is the record. If it were not for Brian Flores, would we know about Hue Jackson? Hue Jackson didn't tell us any of this before. Hue Jackson was on this show. Yeah. Hue Jackson did countless interviews. He didn't tell us that he was being encouraged to lose on purpose and paid off. He did not give us that indication. So I know he told Keyshawn Johnson something this morning, and I know he did interviews with El Duncan on SportsCenter yesterday, but he did not tell us this all of these years, which means we would not have known if it were not for Brian Flores. I think we need to think about all of that, Damien Woody, and I want to know, were any white coaches in the National Football League offered or had forced upon them losing games and offered money to do so? Because if it didn't happen, then that means you saved such a mandate for the brothers. And that's a problem. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.